Hey everybody, this is Bill from Fit and 50 Plus, and today we're going to talk about this. This is the Samsung Galaxy A30. This is my running phone. Yes, you heard me correctly, a phone just for running. And we're going to get into why I use this and what it's all about. A30, what is that? In the US, I go into my local Best Buy and I see a Samsung Galaxy A20, or I go to my carrier and I see a Samsung Galaxy A50, but A30, that's not anything that I've ever seen before. Even the A10e, which is the smaller version. That's where my trial and error comes into play. The A20 and the A50 have been released as unlocked phones, and in some cases through carriers in the United States. The A30, however, has not been released in the USA, and this one specifically is a Latin American variant. So in other words, it's international. It comes without a guarantee, and I picked this one up from Amazon. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to compare this A30 to the A20 and the A50 because those are the ones that probably most of you have seen or are aware of. And like I said, I got this Galaxy A30 on Amazon for $199. I got the white color. I really like it. It picks up the light really cool. See that yellowish hue there? Depending upon the light that you're in, sometimes it's yellow, sometimes it's a rainbow color, but it really is a classy look on the back. And just so you all know, my main phone, the one that I'm actually using to shoot this video, is an iPhone 11. I like the iPhone 11 for my daily driver. I've always had iPhones, and there, I got that flash off the face of the camera. But they have their downsides. The iPhone 11 is really high quality. I love the cameras, but it's quite heavy. It bounces around. I tried running with it, and unless you have it really tight to your body, it turns out that it isn't optimal for longer distances. Plus, it's a $750 phone, and when you're out on the trails, you know as well as I that sometimes stuff goes awry, and the last thing I would want is to smash my iPhone, falling down a trail onto a rock or something like that. Like I said, $750 for the iPhone, $199 for this. If I'm going to trash a phone, this is the one I want to trash, not the iPhone. Okay, so let's quickly run down the specs of the Samsung Galaxy A30. First off, it covers most of the LTE bands that you will find on a domestically released version of a phone, including the band 66, which is the dual 1700-2100 band. The only one that it doesn't cover is the newly utilized 71 band, which from what I understand is only being used by one of the domestic carriers. So what I've found, at least in the Northeast, is that I have exceptional coverage no matter where I've been. I work all through New England, and I never have an issue with coverage. As far as the LTE coverage is concerned, the Samsung Galaxy A30 is great, and that would be as long as you get the Latin American variant. There is a European variant that does not include the LTE bands that are needed for the USA, so you have to be very careful when you go on to Amazon and pick this one up to make sure that you get the Latin American variant. I had to take a little break from the video because I wanted to make sure I got that model number for the Latin American variant. It is SM-A305G. That's what you're looking for. The one I got, like I said, and I'll put this in the description, is listed on Amazon for $199. And like I said, the SM A305G/DS is the one that includes the bands that will work in the United States. Now, in comparing the Samsung Galaxy A30 to the A20 and the A50, you're going to find a lot of similarities. The dimensions are virtually identical. Basically 6¼ inches in length, 2.94 in width, and they're like, I don't know, it's like 0.3 inches in depth. So they're virtually all identical. They all come in between, say, 165 and 166 grams as far as weight is concerned. So they are somewhat light for their size, which is great, especially when you're running a long distance. Now you do get a little difference when it comes to the actual screen itself. So the A20 comes in at 720p. The A30 is full HD 1080 by 2340, 403 on the PPI, and that is the same as the A50. You'll also notice that the A30 here has an always-on display. That is not present on the A20, and I've tried all of these phones. I bought them, returned them, that type of thing. I really fell in love with the always-on display. It's something that has come in handy when I use it. And like I said, I don't use this all the time, but when I do use it, I really like the always-on display. The always-on display is present on the A50 as well. This model, the A30, comes with 32 gigabytes of storage and 3 gigabytes of RAM, which is the same as the A20. You can get a larger size. It costs a little bit more, but the A50 comes in at a starter at 64 gigabytes of storage and 4 gigs of RAM. Keep in mind that the A50, if you get the US version, is $350. That's the only price that it comes in. Sometimes you can get it through carriers with discounts and whatnot for cheaper. And the A20 is about 175 bucks is the cheapest I've seen it. So when I bought the A30, it was after trying out the A20 and the A50 for the price and everything like that, and that's the reason kind of why I settled on the A30, was because it included the very important things that I wanted, like always on display. The other thing that it does not have, just so you're aware, doesn't have an in-screen fingerprint sensor. Instead, it's got the fingerprint sensor on the back, which I find to be actually quicker. The other thing that's lacking on the A30 from the A50 is the camera setup. As you can see, the A30 has a dual camera setup on the back, whereas the A50 has a triple camera setup on the back. But I'm using this as a security device. I want to have some music on it so I can listen to music if I want. I want to have communication if I need communication when I'm out on a run. So I'm not too concerned with the camera setup. It's nice if I'm out on a beautiful trail to take a nice snapshot. And this thing actually has a serviceable camera. I'm not going to say it's great. It's nowhere near the quality of the Apple iPhone 11 or the iPhone X, the 10R, or the 10s for that matter. But you know, it's definitely serviceable if you see something that you really want to take a snap of when you're out on a long run or something like that. So like I said, I'm using this as a alternative camera when I'm out for a run. So I'm not really concerned on the specs as far as the selfie cams are concerned, but I'll just run through them quickly just to put them out there. The A20 has an 8 megapixel selfie cam. The A30 sits at 16 megapixels, and the A50 25 megapixels. The main cameras are also a little bit different. The A20 is at 13 megapixels. It's got a wide, and then it's got a 5 megapixel ultra wide. The A30, which is this one right here, has a 16 megapixel main camera, and it's also got a 5 megapixel ultra wide camera. The ultra wide cameras are pretty cool, but like I said, when you're talking about having a phone for a running purpose, the ultra wide camera really doesn't come into play. you really, you know, are looking more for the security and a base, you know, a middle ground type of camera that will do what you need it to do when you need it to do it. It's not something that you would want to have in your pocket 24/7, that type of thing. You know, the cameras are something that people are interested in, so I thought I'd just mention them. The A50, on the other hand, has the triple camera setup. I'm not really going to get into the details. You got a 25 megapixel main camera, and there's no question that the camera setup on the A50 is a much higher quality. Now, performance-wise, I mentioned the RAM, the memory. I didn't mention the processors, but just know that the A20 to the A30 to the A50, the processors get slightly better as you move up that chain. Now, I'm not gaming with this phone. I'm using this for a very specific purpose. And for my specific purpose, the processor that's in this phone, the A30, is the Exynos 7904. It works just fine. I mean, as you can see, you've got the always on display, which I think is great. You can customize it. Let's see if I can get this flash out of the way. I've got the video lock screen, which is really cool. You got customizable backgrounds, really cool. And as you can see, this thing does everything that you would need it to do when you're out on the trails. Very high level display, very high quality. And like I said, this thing is light, but it has some substance to it. Doesn't feel cheap. On-screen fingerprint is not present, but the back one is, I mean, literally it's seconds. Turn it off, and there it is. So I really have no complaints as far as that's concerned. This also has face unlock. As you notice, it's got the teardrop design up top. And, you know, I'm really looking forward to getting out on the trails in 2020 and rocking my Samsung Galaxy A30 as that type of device that will keep me safe and at the same time provide probably some fun. I can't say that I don't pull it out every once in a while and throw my SIM card in just for shits and giggles. It is really cool as far as the video lock screen is concerned, especially when you compare it to the plain vanilla Apple iPhone 11, which I pretty much have in my pocket on a daily basis. So to change things up, I really do appreciate every once in a while throwing the SIM card in this and using this for a day or two. And like I said, I'm all for having a phone like this in my vest when I head out on the trails. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it might maybe helped a little bit. If you have any questions, feel free to leave your comments down below. If you like the video, please subscribe. I would really appreciate that. It'll help the channel. And until the next one, this is Bill from Fit and 50 Plus. Have a great day.